Hello, my name is Caitlin and welcome back to my channel. I have a problem. I have no idea what my aesthetic is. Some days I'm a colorful cartoon character, other days I'm a 1950s librarian. I really want to figure out once and for all exactly what aesthetic I can aspire to and craft more in my wardrobe. Everybody's got an aesthetic, whether it's cottagecore, prairiecore. I still never understood the whole e-girl, e-boy thing. I still don't understand it. I'm sorry. So when I'm talking about aesthetics, there are a few things to think about. So it's photography, it's things like props and colors and clothing, and you can really craft your own aesthetic based on what you wear and sort of the objects you surround yourself with and the general mood you give off online. So I asked my followers on Instagram yesterday what they think my aesthetic is, and there are variations of the word bright, colorful, vibrant. Someone said zestful, ooh. And this one, which I don't really understand, but I like it. Nickelodeon sort of makes sense because I'm a very colorful sort of cartoon character, but Connecticut? I don't understand Connecticut. Is that preppy? Is it sort of like a preppy cartoon character? Well, a couple of people said chic, which I am surprised and delighted by. So basically it looks like the general vibe I'm giving off is colorful, which is fine with me. But I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to figure out exactly what my aesthetic really, truly is. Today I'm going to do a little bit of research on more of the aesthetics that are listed online. I'm going to take an ultra scientific quiz to figure out which aesthetic I am, and then I'm going to, I think, pick 3 aesthetics that I think I already embody and 3 that would be a challenge. And then we're gonna put the outfits together today and see what happens. Okay, so to do this, I am consulting the most scientific approach, obviously, which is a Buzzfeed quiz. I have one here from 2020 that is called What is Your True Aesthetic? So let's see if BuzzFeed gets me. Pick a color. We've got purple, pink, green, yellow, white, and red. They don't have blue? Okay, well, as a BTS fan, I'm going to go ahead and go with purple as a runner-up. Pick a US vacation spot. Probably Maine, because I really like the East Coast. Pick a snack. Cupcakes, fruit, popsicle chips, trail mix, sucker. Yeah, because when I'm sitting in my house watching a movie and I'm like, oh, I need a snack, I definitely go for suckers. I'm gonna go ahead and say chips. Pick an activity. Hiking, going to the beach, writing, dancing, shopping, making music. Ooh, I wonder what these correlate to, because this, like, what's a hiking aesthetic? I'm going to say shopping, for clothes specifically. Pick a drink. Water, tea, tea. I don't even have to. Pick an animal. Turtle, cat, deer, dog, bear, squirrel. Well, I have a cat and I really love cats, but if I were to just pick any animal, like if I could interact with any, I would probably pick deer. Pick an accessory. Ooh, finally pick an accessory. Okay, let's see. Sunglasses, headband, purse, scrunchie, watch, or leg warmers. Fun fact, I actually had a pair of brown leg warmers in high school that I never wore, but I really was committed to trying to make work. Well, I guess I wasn't that committed because I never wore them, but had them for a long time. I'm gonna say sunglasses. All right, let's figure out how well BuzzFeed knows me. Cottagecore. You love the idea of a simple life and finding meaning in everything. You love nature and animals and care deeply for your loved ones. I don't know, I think that's pretty true. I have a cottage. I mean, I know cottagecore is like English countryside cottages, and Canadian cottages are certainly not that, but it's my aesthetic, but it doesn't really tell me what to actually wear, so I'm gonna have to look that up later. Okay, side note, it looks like there's an updated version to to what your true aesthetic is. So this is November of 2020. So I feel like I need to take a second one just to be sure. If I get cottagecore again, I think I must just be truly cottagecore material. So obviously that's one that I'm going to have to recreate anyway. Vintage. Is that an aesthetic? Just vintage? You're a fashionable and classy old soul. You're a vintage person at heart. That I think is very true. So far, I'm basically a vintage cottagecore dweller. I need to brush up on my aesthetics though, because I don't actually know what all of them are. I have a good handle on the basics like cottagecore, prairie core, dark academia. There are some I'm sure that I've never heard of. So this is where I want to dig in and figure out exactly what else there is out there. Now I'm on the fandom aesthetics wiki, and I just thought maybe this is the most comprehensive source on the internet. What is applecore? Applecore, like core of an apple? Hang on. Applecore is a semi-ironic name for an aesthetic that centers around apples. It is commonly associated with lust, temptation, coming of age, power, and dramatica. Oh my. Oh, there's Twilight on here. Interesting. Okay, I don't know if applecore is for me. Let's see what else is available. Oh god. What is Barbie core? It's probably a lot of pink. Oh, it's literal Barbie. Barbie core is inspired by Mattel fashion doll Barbie. The aesthetic also includes girly 2000s television series, aka Lizzie McGuire, Hannah Montana, as well as vintage makeup products like Lip Smacker. Vintage makeup products? Lip Smackers are vintage now? Check out my homemade Lip Smackers video to learn apparently how old I am. So this is basically just early 2000s girly girl. This is basically what every girl my age aspired to be in the early 2000s, because we all wanted to be Lizzie McGuire. Let's face it. So far, my true aesthetic is cottagecore, but we'll add Barbie core to that, because I feel like that is an embodiment of my past self. So, okay, dark academia is one I'm already familiar with. It's sort of the popular aesthetic around classic literature. It's very moody. It's like picture a university college campus in the UK. It's all foggy and there are, dashing students walking around. They all happen to be handsome and they just like their studies, but maybe there's a murder. Is that the best description of dark academia? That's what it seems like to me. What is goblin core? Goblin core is an aesthetic similar to dragon core. What is dragon core? Goblin core celebrates aspects of nature that most individuals would find ugly or dirty. These aspects can range from animals such as frogs and snails to materials such as moss, mud, closely involved in adjacent movements such as cottagecore. What is grandparent core? Grandparent core is an aesthetic related to the common aesthetic depiction of grandparents as a whole. It's comfortable, whimsical, but not necessarily chaotic. Most of the things that are involved with grandparent core are old, vintage, antique. The aesthetic is split into two different aesthetics, grandma and grandpa core. Though these two groups fall very neatly into binary gender categories, they tend to overlap and borrow from each other. Cozy jumpers, faded bathrobes. This is so weird. Okay, grandparent core. I don't know, it might be too similar to cottagecore, but I'm also gonna add it. I may have found my true aesthetic, which is vacation dad core. Vacation dad core is a style aesthetic focusing on Hawaiian prints, socks and sandals, wide brim hats, tan lines, and that relaxing vacation lifestyle. Ooh. Vacation dad is 100% going on the list. One of my true aesthetics is apparently vintage, so I want to make sure I'm covering that. So maybe, let's click on vintage Parisian and see what this looks like. Takes influence from mid-century Paris, luxury brands, and old Hollywood movies. Yes, please. The participants emphasize the importance of self-care, romanticizing small pleasures in life, and cultivating a sophisticated and kind personality. Am I a vintage Parisian? Maybe the Buzzfeed quiz was actually accurate. Black turtlenecks, influenced by Audrey Hepburn, white lace blouses, little black dresses. Wow. amazing. All right, I'm definitely, I think, gonna go with vintage Parisian too. I want to get into something that really isn't my general aesthetic, but I'm not exactly sure what that is. What is a woodland goth? Woodland goth or dark fairycore is an internet aesthetic which combines dark romantic elements of goth culture with light subjects like flowers or soft woodland animals. Oh, cute. Elements have been taken from cottagecore. Okay, so maybe that might be something we could do. Blouses, darker colors, hand-knitted accessories, floral prints. Okay, woodland goth. Okay, I feel like I definitely can figure out the woodland aesthetic. The goth is gonna be a bit different for me, so I'm going to add that as a challenge. I'm in my guest room now because I got bored downstairs. I want it to be a little cozier, so here we are. What I'm gonna do is just try to come up with a way that I can include some props, include maybe a backdrop. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to end up editing these photos anyway to see if I can actually make them look as cottagecore, vacation dad core, Barbie core, woodland goth-esque as possible. And I don't know how I'm gonna do that because I'm planning to just get them all done this afternoon, but we'll see. So for vintage Parisian, this was tricky. I think I had the right outfit in mind. This is a 1950s cocktail dress. It's black, it's sleek and beautiful. And I think what really works with this is the fact that I have some velvet heels to go with it. I have a 1960s wool cardigan that's very beautiful. So I can sort of picture me walking down the streets of Paris with this outfit on and just generally enjoying myself. So it's got a bit of a vintage Paris vibe and I really like it. If I could dress like this every day, 100,000,000% I would, for sure. Next was cottagecore, and cottagecore, according to these quizzes, is my ultimate aesthetic. Now, I sort of took cottagecore and morphed it into a bit of a picnic in the meadow type of look as you read a book. And I pulled out my gingham vintage 50s dress, and I just sort of think that it goes well with this cream cardigan from the last look, and I can just picture myself sitting in a field of flowers in this. And for my actual Instagram aesthetic, I didn't want to Photoshop myself too specifically because I think cottagecore, rather than Photoshopping myself into real life, it could just be more of an homage to the style. I don't know if this is totally grandpa core, but it's certainly grandparent chic. Now, I am not personally a grandparent. I supremely admire their cozy aesthetic. My own grandparents, they love crosswords, they love reading. This is an aesthetic I can get behind, that is for sure. It's not to say everyone's grandparents dress the same either. I would say this is like a mix between grandpa and grandma core, but personally, I dig it. I kind of dress like this a lot anyway. Maybe rather than vintage or cottagecore, grandparent core is sort of my aesthetic. Hi, I'm gonna level with you. Vacation dad is the easiest one. I wish I was wearing this all day, every day, all the time. Every day of my life. And I guess I can. It's comfortable, seasonal. There's a specific type of vacation dad, I realize. You know, there's the sunglasses and hat vacation dad, there's the just hat vacation dad, there's the just sunglasses vacation dad. Ultimately, it all boils down to, do you have a camera? Do you have a Hawaiian shirt? And if the answer to both of those questions is yes, You can be a vacation dad too. Hey kids, get together in front of this big, you know, whatever it is that we're looking at. Gotta be on time for the light show. I don't know, what do people do for vacation nowadays? I realized I have this wavy, beachy ocean print in my hallway. So I'm gonna try to find a way to like take a picture of myself in front of it. Okay. I tried to put barrettes in, it didn't really work. Welcome to Barbie core. I was trying to rack my brain and figure out what to wear for this until I realized I have a literal Barbie bodysuit, so I went ahead and threw that on. I kind of feel like the Lizzie McGuire show, Clueless, Barbie all sort of threw up on me. I'm like a low budget Barbie, like the off-brand Barbie that's not actually Barbie, it's like Barbara. I brought like a little nail file to be all like, ooh, I'm a cool girl at school, just like filing my nails. Why are all the mean girls in all these movies just sitting there like... The core of Barbie core is an I don't care attitude, and I feel like if you wear this, you really have to not care what people think. Actually, I look like Isabella from the Lizzie McGuire movie. Sing to me, Paolo. Lizzie McGuire, you are an outfit repeater. Hey now, hey now. I want to dress like this every day. I guess I could. We're all just at home right now. Should I? I think this is my favorite. Hello, it is I, a woodland goth. Okay, so what I realized is that woodland goth is actually way fancier than I thought. Excuse me. Oh my god. So woodland goths are way fancier than I initially thought. So they're all wearing fancy dresses with petticoats and it's very witchy. So I decided I'm gonna wear my long sort of 20s drop-waisted dress. I don't know, this is the like witchiest woodlandy goth thing I had. And I put on some very dark brown lipstick that I will never be able to get off later because it's like glue. I don't know if I nailed it. Is this my new aesthetic? I don't know. Is this goth? Woodland goths, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm not, I don't have access to a woodland currently because, you know, it's a stay-at-home order. So I think what I'm gonna do is just edit myself into a forest with like a book or something. I don't know, we'll see how that goes. My foot looks weird. Ah! Okay. That exhausted me more than I think it should have. So now all that's left to do is edit those photos to figure out which aesthetic is my ideal aesthetic. What have I learned from this process? Let's edit these up and see how they turn out. So I don't think I'm going to edit all of these photos because I think some stand on their own fairly well, but there are a couple that I want to do. The Barbie core, I wanted to do something whimsical, something sort of 90s, early 2000s. So I have this, but I'm not entirely sure that I like it. I've got this one too, which I think I like more. I've done a cottage core one, which originally I thought I was gonna basically, I don't know, place myself in a backdrop of flowers. I guess I can still try that, but I kind of like this aesthetic because it's a bit more understated cottage core. It's a bit more Instagram friendly too, so. The one that I'm not sure about, I'm just gonna say it. I think I look like less of a woodland goth and more of a vampire from Twilight. Although to be fair, I guess that's not a bad thing. I kind of like it. And aren't vampires from Twilight woodland goths at the end of the day? I don't know, but I think we're gonna play with this woodland goth idea a little bit more and just see what other types of foliage maybe I can find. I think essentially what I'm just doing with this is trying to come up with a Twilight movie poster, which is not exactly the assignment. Oh, okay, hang on. This looks very woodland core. Let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, this is less Twilight. Side note, I ended up changing the edit for my woodland goth look into sort of more of almost a witchy time traveler lives in the forest sort of vibe, and I think it got about 100 times better. That was a weird afternoon. I have to say, out of all of these aesthetics, surprisingly, Barbie core was my favorite. Who would have thought? Not me. I just had so much fun trying to figure out how to recreate all of these different aesthetics today. I don't really think I actually did get any closer to figuring out what my true aesthetic is, because actually I think cottagecore was great, but one of my lesser favorites. I think really though, what this means is that no one person can completely adhere to one specific aesthetic. I dress differently all the time, and I like doing it. I like feeling as though I'm sort of playing dress up a little bit when I get dressed in the morning. So I don't mind one bit that different aesthetics do different things for me and give me different levels of enjoyment. Hopefully, this inspires you to figure out what your own aesthetic is, or to try out different types of aesthetics that you didn't know you even liked before. So I'll link the fandom wiki for all of the different types of aesthetics and cores down below. I'll also link the quizzes that I did if you want to find your own. And once you do, let me know what you are in the comments, and we will share our interesting aesthetics with one another. Go ahead and subscribe if you liked it, and if you didn't, subscribe anyway, because it might be different next time. And don't forget to turn on those little bell notifications so you know when I upload every Friday. Bye! Oh my god, Beyblades? Sorry, I just got really excited. Just leave a message on my pager and beep me. How did pagers work again? You beeped it, and then they called you back, right? Ooh, I just got it on VHS. Everyone come over and we'll eat some ring pops and Ovaltine.